Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna show you how do I play Smells Like Teen Spirit. Let's go! At first, I needed to learn quints, and in this case it's quint on F, then B, then G and A flat, and a D flat. Why not quint with an octave? Well, in this song, where the downstroke is prevails, the difference between the quint and quint with an octave is insignificant, especially when notes aren't long and the sound of guitar is overdriven. Let me show you. The next thing is a rhythm. A time signature is 4/4, and for the first F quint we got a dotted 8th note, then a 16th and an 8th. The pick movements are downstroke, then upstroke and again downstroke. What I want to achieve is really aggressive and thick sound of every quint, so there are some basic things to consider. Let's take a look at my left hand. To play quints I use my second and fifth finger. I wouldn't recommend you to use your fourth finger instead of the fifth, because it's uncomfortable and creates an extra tension in the left hand. Plus, this position is more difficult to change accurately than that. Now, I put my fingers close to the fret nuts, using tips of fingers to push on strings. Another thing to say is that my second finger isn't placed strictly vertical, but tilted a bit left so I can successfully mute all higher strings. For example, if I play the 6th string, all higher strings are muted. Let's move to the right hand. If my left hand is a wheel, the right hand is a gas pedal, an engine. To get this kind of sound, I need a few things. First is holding a pick. I put it on my rounded second finger, then place the first finger over it. I don't want the pick to stick out much, because it will become uncontrollable, or my index to pop out, again, for the control. What about other fingers? I prefer to straighten them, so I could achieve a bigger amplitude and a stronger strike. And this leads us to an angle and a movement of the hand, which I use to play the downstroke. An angle is so-called in-guitar angle, which is relative to this plane. There are three types of angles: in-guitar, parallel guitar, and out-of-guitar. When playing the downstroke, the best way to get a reinforced concrete quality is to play in guitar. Now, the movement. Instead of using these weak flexing and extensor muscles of my wrist, I use rotation muscles of my forearm. So, the movement looks like this. With that being said, I'll try to play the downstroke with clenched fingers. Some problems pop out here. I can't maintain the same in-guitar angle, because now my fingers do not allow this. The solution will be to change the angle, which will lead to a weaker sound. Also, the movement will become less rotated, and an amplitude decreases. So again, it will end up in a kind of a slack fuzz, which I don't like. Let me show you. One thing to remember, the angle in guitar will be more sharp when playing a single note than an interval, quint in this case, due to the impossibility of playing two notes simultaneously with a really sharp angle. Another thing is how do I actually strike. The rule of the hue is to throw a relaxed wrist with a good swing, and in the very moment of the connection of the pick and the string, to strain this construction, and after the pick touches the string, to relax. I'm talking about a reasonable strain. I don't want my hand to turn into a right chicken paw every time I strike. So it's not like this, but like this. Finally, I have to synchronize my left and right arms. And this is how it sounds. Moving to the upstroke. All the same as in the downstroke, except the angle, which is more parallel to a guitar. But again, the movement is fast and sharp. Here we got an interesting moment. If there's a part when the downstroke alternates with an upstroke at the same note duration, everything is normal. But if there's a rhythm like here, there's a rule to play it correctly, a rule of pendulum. The rule is to imitate rhythmically up and down movements in pauses between the strikes. In this case, I should imitate sixteenths because they are the shortest notes. It looks like this. I don't swing my wrist furiously, just a relaxed imitation of strikes. Basically, there are two reasons to do it. First is to play the upstroke right in time. If I'll play the downstroke and leave my hand there, it will be hard to say when I have to strike again, because I have a differently durated notes. But with this rule, my hand serves me as a metronome, and I always know when to strike. Another reason is to remove tension and increase sound quality. When I keep the momentum, my wrist is always stays relaxed, and I have a good swing to perform a required strike. So, after the upstroke, there's again the downstroke. And 4/16, which are dead notes. To perform it, I need to place my fingers on strings without pushing, just to mute them, and strum up and down. How do I strum? Well, it's like playing an acoustic guitar. Wide movements, relaxed wrist, and a reasonable amount of strain at the strike moment. While I play dead notes, I move my left hand to the next B quint. The reason I play it on the 6th string is in sound character. I could play it on the 5th string, but sound thins out a bit and I don't like it. Let's compare it. The rhythm here is simple. 2 8s and then 1 8 on G. 3 downstrokes, 1 position change. The only new technical thing here is a position change. The good performance will be achieved when changing the position simultaneously with the downstroke. It is not the slide. It is a fast move. There's one trick that helps me. When I move my left hand while playing the dead notes, I keep my thumb on the left. So when I change the position from the B quint to the G, my thumb is already stays in the position of the G quint. Thus, I can change it accurate and clean. Next one is an A-flat quint. After a position change, we got the same rhythm as we did at the first F quint. Then comes dead notes with the same rhythm as well. And then a quint on D flat. There's one nuance that I should mention. As I said earlier, I play with tips of my fingers, and there's a quint on the 5th string. So, how shall I mute the 6th string? With my 3rd finger. I wouldn't recommend you to mute the upper string with your 2nd finger, for a bunch of reasons. First of all, it would be much harder to push the string with this part of the finger. Secondly, let's say you have to play something like this. If I'll try to mute the 6th string with my 2nd finger, it would be impossible to perform. And thirdly, if I want to play a quint on the 4th string, how can I mute the 6th string? Okay, returning to our D flat. The rhythm here is the same as it was at B quint. Then we got E natural, and that's it for the first part of the riff. In my case, the guitar is tuned in D, so I play E natural on the 2nd fret. If you're playing in standard tune, you should just play the open 6th string. Now, let's hear this part of the riff. The second part begins with an F quint. The rhythm is a quarter, then an 8th and 2/16. After that, 2 8s on F sharp, all played with the downstroke, except dead notes. Then a single B natural note, which is the quarter. Let me play this riff so far. After that, we have the same rhythm with these notes, the quad on C, then 2 dead notes, then a quint on B. Finally, we have a quint on A flat and an E natural. That's it for the spot and for the whole riff. This is how it sounds. I hope this video was useful for you. If you have any questions, ask them in comments. Also, if you need to record a guitar in your song, I can do it for you. The links on Fiverr and SoundBetter will be in the description. Looks like that's it. Gotta go.